I want to talk about CrossFit and how CrossFit has changed my entire life. So this is going to be a little bit of a story time video, a little bit different than what I've been doing. So I hope you guys like it. If you like this video, please comment and subscribe and like this video. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay. Throughout my life, I've struggled as a young adult with food. When I was younger, I was always super active. I grew up on a farm, riding horses, running around all day with my siblings. We had a great time. And so I was always active. I always ate whatever I wanted. My mother was super healthy, so we only ate very clean foods. Growing up, you know, very occasionally have some junk food. Super rare that we had it. So I had a really good diet. I was super active. I never once thought about being fat or gaining weight, losing weight, nothing. Like it never was even a thought in my head when I was a teenager, when I was a little girl. And then when I got older and, you know, obviously puberty hits and you start gaining weight and you become more womanly, your body changes, and, you know, I wasn't this little long string bean anymore. I was gaining some weight, but I was still very active. So again, I looked fine. I looked great. I looked healthy. When I went to pretty much go live on my own, and when I was going to esthetician school in Fairfax, Virginia, I just kind of let myself go in a sense. Like, I was like, hey, I'm away from home. I can eat whatever I want. I got really lazy. I know how to cook, but I wouldn't cook. So I would just get takeout food every day. And, you know, it started showing. I wasn't exercising anymore because I was at school. I wasn't on the farm every day doing, you know, taking care of animals. So I was gaining weight. So during this time, I was extremely unhappy. I was working a lot. The job that I was doing it was kind of, I had a high note with the job I was doing. I used to be an esthetician. I did skincare, facials, hair removal, waxing, whatever you name it, at a spa for probably 4 years. And I loved it. Like, it was my passion. I loved school. Like, it was an amazing time in my life. And then probably 2.5 years into it, you know, I really started to struggle. The place that I worked at didn't really care about their employees, and they started hiring essentially more estheticians because they wanted to make sure that they weren't turning away any clients. They didn't really care about quality service. They cared about quantity, and that's just not my style. And when I first started working there, it was just me for a long time and one other esthetician, and we did great. Like, we built our books up, we made amazing money. You know, I was just having a really good time. It was a really good time in my life for my career. And then 2 years into it, things started declining. They hired more estheticians. We changed managers. Essentially, the whole place was just falling apart, and it really showed. I think we lost a lot of clients, and plus I had to fairly distribute the clients with the other estheticians. So thus, I'm only making money out commission there, so I wasn't getting paid hourly, and if I don't have people, I don't make money. So it just really declined. They didn't care about us. And I really hung on as long as I possibly could, but I was really struggling financially because just literally my money was cut in half, if not less. So I decided to pick up a serving job. I've done serving on and off throughout my life. Serving is a great thing to fall back onto. You can make a killing. It's fast-paced, easy, just easy money. So I grabbed a serving job at the time to make ends meet. I enjoy serving, but I also hate it because it's just not my passion. I would much rather be spending my time doing something that I'm passionate about, that makes me happy, that can help other people, and not just deal with assholes all day and feed them food and drinks. Let's go back probably about 3.5 years ago. I was dating a guy, and it was not a very good relationship. we definitely did not have very much in common. I think that the reason we were drawn together was because we were both just super lonely, which is not a good reason to ever honestly date somebody. Long story short, we moved in with each other way too fast. Again, we ignored all signs of honestly having anything in common. When we first started dating, we were very young. He was a few years older than me. I was 20. Anyway, that age is like super prime age to go out and party and drink, and do all that kind of stuff with your friends. And, you know, I was becoming 21 and I was also in kind of that stage of my life. And, you know, I didn't think anything of it, but he definitely had an alcohol problem, like 100%. Was an alcoholic, and I just ignored it, totally ignored it. I was just in a place in my life where I'm still not 100% sure what I was thinking. I was young and stupid, and that's really the best way I can describe it. But hey, we all go through those phases in life, and it's part of growing up, finding who we are. All these kind of experiences aren't a bad thing. I don't see any of my past relationships ever as something that has held me back or anything. Like, if anything, it's helped me grow so much emotionally and mentally as a human. And I don't regret any of my past relationships, even if they were not ideal. Anyway, he was an alcoholic, bottom line. It progressively got worse and worse and worse as we were together. And he worked a lot. He always worked night shift and I worked days. So honestly, we never got to see each other. Another bad thing in a relationship is you need to make time for the other person. You need to put effort into seeing them and being with them. And if you don't do that, it kind of wears on you after a while, and it really hurts your relationship, I personally think. It's nice to have time to miss each other. You shouldn't be around each other 24/7, but you also need that time together, you know, a date night or just hanging out at home and cuddling, whatever. It's super important to get close with that person and have enough time with them. And I felt like I never had enough time with him, and then I would only see him drink and drink and drink because obviously he was unhappy, and it made me unhappy to watch. So I drugged that relationship on way too long, and pretty much halfway through it, we became very distant, even though we still lived together. We really didn't hang out much. We didn't talk very much. It was more like a kiss, hello, and goodbye, and how was your day? And so it was super short. We never really made much time for each other anymore. It was just on its way out, essentially. And there was some kind of weird tension between us because we both knew that, but we didn't say anything, we didn't do anything. We literally just kept living together and dragging it on for absolutely no reason. So I finally built up the courage and the bravery to break up with my boyfriend. Was literally the hardest breakup I've ever encountered so far in my life. And it was a very sad breakup. My boyfriend at the time was still very attached to me, so, you know, that made it really difficult for me because I'm a very sensitive, empathetic person. I hate at all costs hurting somebody in any way. Like, I strive to make people happy. I love making people laugh. I know that I had made the change with my diet and my exercise, and I was feeling much happier. Treating my body like a trash can, I stopped all of that. Definitely helped. But the last piece of the puzzle was definitely getting rid of my toxic relationship. And once I did that, even though I had to move back in with my mother and live on her couch for like 2 months, I was so happy. Like, I woke up every day ready to just bounce out of the couch and conquer the day. Like, I was just so happy. And it was crazy to me that I had made myself feel this way for so long when it was just like that. I could have just ended it and got rid of it out of my life, but I held on for so long and I was so unhappy in it. And I'm so glad that I went through that, just because now I know to never ever do that again. I've learned that staying in a toxic relationship for a very long time is not something you should ever do, and you definitely should listen to your gut. If you have any kind of feelings that you should break up with this person, really evaluate it, write down the pros and cons of your relationship. Sometimes it's really good to see it like on paper. It can make it more concrete and make you make a better decision versus just pondering ideas in your head. So definitely do that if this is something that you can relate to right now in your life. Essentially, this sounds silly because I feel like so many people say it, but I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I decided to make a change. I literally woke up one day and I don't know how to explain it, but I was just sick and tired, and I knew I had to make a change. That there was no ifs, ands, or buts. I had to make a change now, and I needed to be happy. I can take control of my life, and the only one in my way is myself. So I decided right then and there, I called up one of my really good friends at the time, and I was like, she was the only friend that I ever had that was into anything fitness related. I'm gonna ask her if she'd like to go and do a free week of CrossFit with me. And I had been eyeballing this CrossFit gym literally for 2 years. 2 years. I researched it so many times, like, what the heck is CrossFit? Oh my god, that looks terrifying, and like, just, you already have to be super fit to even attempt it. But you know, they were offering a free week, come and try it, bring a friend, whatever. I was like, you know what, it's so much less intimidating taking somebody with you. So I called her up, I was like, hey girl, next week, we are going. I am signing both of us up, we're going. So we did that, I signed myself up and her. We went the next week and we died, I'll put it that way, but in a good way. Definitely super out of shape. Like, I was nauseous, almost kind of felt like crying halfway through because my mental state just wasn't tough enough. I mean, it was because I made it through, obviously, but it was really difficult, mainly mentally. The best way I can describe that CrossFit changed my life is from that day on, I just decided, I loved how I felt afterwards. I felt like I conquered so much mentally and physically. Even though I was the last person to finish, I felt amazing. And so I stuck with it, and you know, I could only do like 2 to 3 days a week because I'd be so sore. Like, I literally couldn't get out of bed. I was so sore. Probably for the first 3 months I was like that, and then I slowly added more days, and I consistently went from the day one. I promised myself I was going to be consistent with it, whether it was 1 day a week or 2 days a week. I was going 2 days a week. That's the end of it. So I'm so happy that I made that choice, and I disciplined myself to go. Whether I wanted to or not, I went. And, you know, there was a lot of days, oh, heck no, I did not want to go. And I made myself go, and I felt amazing afterwards. So yeah, a few months go down the road, I'm doing great. I feel like I have control again over something in my life because my financial state, not so good. My career, not so good. I just wasn't where my heart was anymore. And the boyfriend that I had at the time, again, terrible. I'm just focusing on working out and eating right. Like, that's all I was focusing on. It's the only thing that brought me any kind of happiness in my life at the time. So I was super focused in on it. I was seeing results really quickly. First 3 months, I like only lost maybe 10-ish pounds, but I think I was gaining so much muscle because I pretty much had zero fitness level at the time when I started. And CrossFit, I was like slowly going up in weights, and you know, my strength was increasing pretty quickly, I thought. And so I definitely was gaining a ton of muscle at the same time I was burning fat. So the scale didn't really show that much, which to me was a little discouraging, but because I was still so new to fitness, I didn't understand that the scale honestly means nothing. Literally nothing. Doesn't tell you anything about your muscle, your body fat percent, your bone density, your water. Doesn't tell you anything about what's really going on inside. So at the time I took it kind of hard, like I'd be really hard on myself if I didn't lose that pound or half a pound of fat a week, which is like what you're supposed to have consistently. And I would restrict more here and there, and I saw that that didn't really help. So I was just kind of playing around with the macros. Learning curve, you know, it's a learning process, and I did that for probably 6 to 8 months. Like, just focus on CrossFit, my diet. You know, macros really helped me, or teach me how to do good portion sizes, really helped me take control of my diet. So I focused on that. I was doing CrossFit. Also my CrossFit gym, just like the community was so welcoming. The moment I went in, people are just like, oh my gosh, hi. And I think most CrossFit gyms are that way, and that's why also a lot of people are super into CrossFit, and it's not only for the workout style, but it's the community as well. And you know what? If you're thinking of joining a gym, CrossFit, kickboxing, running a marathon, anything in that sorts, just do it. Don't hold yourself back anymore. Just be brave and make the leap and do it. And I can 100% promise you, you're going to be so proud and happy with yourself. And it's going to help change your life for the better. And it's going to lead to better choices in your life. My best advice is just follow your heart. Don't let somebody else tell you what to do, because you have one life and you need to be happy, and you can be happy. It's all in your control. You can build your life any way that you want it. When you're young, sometimes, you know, your thoughts get in the way, and things do get in the way, and things will challenge you in your life, and it's your choice how you react and how you take that next step. So yes, CrossFit changed my life. When I joined that CrossFit gym, that was the beginning. That was the first step. I started CrossFit. I started eating better. I met amazing people at CrossFit that helped inspire and motivate me to keep going and be consistent. And I fell in love with fitness. I fell in love with the mental challenge of powering through a really difficult workout and just challenging yourself in physically and mentally became addictive to me in a sense. And here I am now, three and a half years later, and I couldn't be more happy. I'm in a really good place right now. I'm working on things in my life, but you know, overall, I'm much more happy than I've ever been. So CrossFit has changed my life in many different ways, not just physical. So that was just something I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully you like this kind of story time vibe. I could have totally went into this story in a lot more depth, going way back to when I was a little girl and just kind of my whole process, but maybe I'll save that for another video. If that's something that you want to know about me, definitely comment below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, a comment, a share, a subscribe, all of the above. Please do it. It really helps grow my channel, and I appreciate all the support so far. You know, I don't have very many views or subscribers, but I love making these videos, and I'm just really happy to be on YouTube. So anyway, see you guys later. I hope you have an amazing day. Crush this week. Bye.